तो सबसे पहले एक बहुत ही मेरी फेवरेट रीसेंट फेवरेट इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी से स्टार्ट करता हूँ, which I share with almost everyone. I mean, with my friends and other people that I meet outside of my maths, English, logic teaching job. I don't know why I haven't shared it with you guys because I was busy building that syllabus first mostly. So the story is this: you guys remember the pandemic, right? And there was a second or the third wave of the pandemic in India where suddenly there were dead bodies everywhere. There was a lot of panic. There were oxygen trains running, etc., etc. Right? So that's the context, that's the mahal of the story. And Escape Beachman, this I've read in the newspaper. A very small article. It's not a famous story. It's nobody has discussed this anywhere. There's no TED talk about it. But I found it very, very interesting, connecting to other ideas that I'd learned earlier. That during that pandemic, there was this injection called the remdesivir injection. Medicine was called remdesivir. Right, the name is irrelevant. There was some medicine, American medicine, very expensive, always in short supply. There's black marketing happening because, I mean, it's India, and even in the middle of a death wave, we can still make money. So all of that was happening, and what the article said was that oh, so many fake remdesivirs were sold during this particular time. And then a little footnote said, but the funniest thing is, it didn't say the funny, I mean, that's my perception of it, that in a lot of cases, people who got those fake injections actually improved their health or came out of severe situations, right? Now, what's the point of this story? The point is that uh, your brain has explosive levels of power. Some of you might have already discovered it while in school, in college, while trying new things out, or hearing stories of other people, or watching other people. That there is a lot of it's a powerhouse, right? It's the best designed tool as of now in the universe, as far as we know. And what happens in this remdesivir story is that because people believe that this medicine is going to work, they don't know it's fake, right? So they believe that remdesivir is the only solution, even when it's fake. They don't know it. They believe the medicine, and their health improves. So this effect is known as the placebo effect. Now, for people who are going to challenge themselves in their lives, right? One is that I got a government job, then everything is secure. There's not too much of a challenge on a daily basis. Life goes on. Or maybe you're planning to be an entrepreneur and somebody who learns three, four new things, and every 5 years the world is changing. There's going to be a lot of challenges. Maybe at 30-year-old you will decide that you want to be a painter. You made your money. You were an investment banker. Now you want to paint, and then you have to fight with your. I mean, not fight, but use your brain, right? So uh, for any person in this journey of improvement, not and almost never ending improvement, because it's not one day you will say, okay, now it's over. This term, that placebo effect, is very, very important because it opens up how, basically this whole domain of the mind and how powerful it can be, right? So, do you guys know that when we are testing medicines, right? Let's say a new medicine is made and they now want to do human trial, human testing. So when they give it to people, they have to give a placebo version also. Like, for example, a medicine which is not really a medicine, just looks like medicine, is mostly a pill without any real content. But the patient is told that, listen, this is the medicine, and then the real medicine is also given to some people, and even there is a double blind check which you can check later. But the point being that because this is true, the medicine has to be tested in this way, so that the actual medicine must perform better than the placebo, because just saying it is a medicine will work for a lot of people. तो अगर आप जो जो मानते हैं वो सच है, जो जो बोलते हैं वो सच हो जाएगा आज नहीं तो कल, राइट? So that, so instead of starting with that overcoming negative self-talk, I wanted to start with how powerful your brain can be, right? And not only, I mean, this story, but you've seen the human brain in action all around you. It processes language, it makes music, there is architecture, we have gone to space. You've seen people balance on a rope on top of Eiffel, I mean, top of Empire State Building. There are people who can climb buildings. It's all coming from the power of the brain, right? So anytime you see something extraordinary happening, you have to appreciate the human brain, and that's the same human brain you have, right? So it's really, really powerful. It's a wonderful tool, and it's a great servant or a slave if you are the master, right? Because if you are not, and I mean, if the brain is not, your mind is not channeling well or is not coherent, in that case, uh, the same tool will work against you, and your life is going to become problematic, right? Not, I mean, problematic, but not full of the potential that could have been had. So now this is where the idea of negative beliefs comes in, that if the brain is super powerful, right? But right now it is chained by beliefs, what you believe about yourself, right? So let's say in your test taking scenario, you might say that, oh, I am not good at maths, right? So every time you say that, every time you repeat this idea that you're not good at maths, this is actually becoming true, right? The the belief is becoming real in nature. Also, because you believe that even simple things appear very difficult to you, right? So fear is a mind killer. So what you have to do is sit down and figure out what are these beliefs, why are they there? I mean, we'll get into questioning them. But the first step would also or only be that what are these beliefs? Do I have these limiting beliefs? Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not good at drawing. Oh, I always make a mistake. I am useless. I am not as good as those people. Oh, IIT people are so special. Cat is not for me. Or, I mean, cat is irrelevant, but any new goal, ki, oh, I can't be this fit or I can't make a body like that, right? So the starting idea would be, because your brain is so powerful, if you put it, you use it rightly, channel it and give it a direction, it will almost, along with you, achieve almost anything. You just have to give it time, you have to devote yourself to it, but that success or mastery will come in almost any direction, right? It could be cricket, it could be writing poetry, it could be making a movie, it could be running an organization, it could be running your own business, starting your own business, like but why do I mean, even starting a business, right? People are like, oh, it's not for me. For all you know, you might be the best businessman ever. You've never tried it, you've not experienced it, but there is a belief. I mean, we can get into more complicated ones also. Money is bad. These kind of people are like that. All of that, any such belief basically acts like a filter between you and reality, right? So it comes as it basically limits your vision and reduces your performance. So if you're and then creates stress, and then you will die because of a heart attack, right? So negative beliefs can also create bodily stress. I'm sure that when you're having these negative thoughts, especially a lot of them, you will feel that in your body as well, because as you're thinking, the brain thinks that it's in danger, so it starts releasing these chemicals which are useful in very dangerous scenarios. But it's not a real danger. We're not using those chemicals for physical activity or fighting off a tiger. So those chemicals become problematic for us, right? It's slightly getting into too much of neurobiochemistry. I'm also surprised, but uh, that's the disadvantage of having a negative belief, right? It's going to work like a chain. Let me tell you another very interesting story. So, elephant trainers in Kerala, right, for example, or in other countries as well. And again, don't worry about the fact check of the story. Take it in the spirit of storytelling, right? Because I normally, when I'm teaching maths or that cat passage or that logic challenge, I'm very factual. So even while talking about these slightly subjective matters, I want to be as factual as possible. But for now, take the story for its value, like the lesson it carries. So these elephants are such powerful beings, right? They're so strong compared to us. So when there's a baby elephant and it's being trained, it's taken away from the forest, let's say to a farm where he's going to be trained. The trainer puts a heavy metal chain around the feet of the baby elephant, right? So the baby elephant tries running away from the situation, but it can't because the chain is so heavy and it's so strong. But as time goes by, the trainer removes the heavy metal chain and just puts a very light, I mean, cotton or jute rope, let's say, tied around the foot of the elephant. Now, now a grown elephant can even break the heavy chain, right? But because it has been conditioned to the elephant knows that there is a chain. As long as there is a chain on my foot, I can't walk because that's been my experience. So the elephant never even tries, right? Unless, I mean, in exceptional cases, let's say there is a fire or a loud noise, and the elephant might react and he might break the chain or the rope. But this is what happens to our brains also. So we took a belief maybe from earlier, maybe when we were in school, and then we keep extending it to all our future life. Oh, my school grades were not good, that means I must be not smart. That was one scenario, and there are so many kinds of smarts available in the modern world, right? So a pointer on essentially that how negative beliefs, what you believe, can hamper your goals, right? Why is the brain so negative? And is it only your brain, or let's say my brain, that is negative? So you also have to figure out that no, Roger Federer or Virat Kohli or Deepika Padukone. I think Deepika Padukone also came out and spoke about her mental health issues. And mental health essentially means stress, right? You're thinking about something and that is causing you stress. So why is our brain so inclined towards one negativity? So there is a inherent negativity bias, and it's because of our evolutionary biology, right? So how interesting is this your human brain's journey, right? Because you are a modern city dwelling human being with the internet connection, but 100 years ago, 150 years ago, there was no electricity. You were living in a village. 1,000, 5,000, maybe 15,000 years before that, a straight jump, right? And do think about it. There was some ancestor of yours who was alive 15,000 years ago. Otherwise, you would not be here. And not all of them had sex also. So get comfortable with that idea. So this very old ancestor of yours lived in a forest, and in the forest there were a lot of dangers around. Now, if there was a sound of the leaves rustling, it was better for your ancestor to react quickly and say, "Ki, bro, danger. Let me get ready with my spear and let me get ready to run." And to get ready to run, you need adrenaline in your body. So the brain starts releasing adrenaline so that you can run or fight, flight or fight the situation, right? So that's the reason why your brain is designed towards highlighting negativity and or danger. But what has happened is the modern world is very safe, it's very comfortable. You have running water in your house. I'm assuming if you have internet connection, I'm assuming you have. You listening to me in English, I'm assuming you have running water in your house, right? So that danger does not exist, but our brain doesn't know. So if there is a toxic friend, right, somebody in college who makes comments on you, your body is still feeling the same way as if there is a tiger in the room, right? Because that's the only thing it knows. Your danger, adrenaline, stress in the body, and negativity, right? Then there is our storytelling. We are a storytelling creature, right? We build stories around what we do and how we are. Oh, I'm like this is my journey, this is my identity. So we are trained in the modern world, we are trained to think a lot about ourselves, right? And again, that can go overboard. You're thinking about yourself, and then obviously you're thinking of either past or future, and you're trying to analyze and trying to protect yourself in this world by this story and by this ruminating about the self, right? And often it can be negative. By default, mode is often negative, right? So that is how your brain is naturally designed. So you have to kind of get over it, push it in one direction, so that these negativity biases from 15, 20,000 years ago, and this tendency to ruminate and focus on the negatives can be eliminated, right? So just knowing that my brain has a tendency to be negative, the next time I have a negative thought, I can say, "Ha, brain, you are overreacting." I know, I mean, personally, if you talk to me, I treat my brain like a lie, right? Like that, whatever it says, except for work, except for real things of life. Okay, open the door, close the door, drive a car, take this lesson, make this lesson, try and do this, that. About storytelling of my own life, who I am, and what should be, I know it's going to lie and it'll create negative scenarios. Like, oh, 5 years ago, this person said this to me. Oh, what will happen 5 years from now? All of that, right? So, past and future thinking, storytelling. personally, I ignore it. I mean, and again, it didn't come easy to me, but eventually I learned to just ignore it. It's not real at all, right? So evolution is actually also the reason why we like sweet things and we tend to eat, I mean, fatty things and sweet things. Why are they our favorite? Because again, in ancient times, these things were very, very important for our survival. So we were trained to, when we get sugar, consume as much sugar as you can because later you will not get sugar, right? So that was the, I mean, that's another piece of. And again, where are these ideas coming from? These are coming, I mean, I'm assuming you're also having fun with these ideas. They're coming from books and novels and videos and shows and whatever, right? So gather information about the world and about yourself. So how do I start getting over it? Number one step would obviously be awareness. So you slowly have to become aware of what you are thinking rather than just thinking about it compulsively, right? So that means, okay, I thought that now there is not enough time. The small belief, now there is not enough time to prepare for something. Uh, and first I have to become aware that is that first of all it's a negative belief, let's say in your situation, and then I can start investigating it or completely ignore it and say, because I do not know how much time is enough for something, let me give it a try instead of saying ki, I can't do it because there's not enough time, right? So it would be, the beginning would be knowing that when you're thinking negatively and what are these beliefs running in your head, and part of that would be bringing awareness to your own self, right? What are you thinking about? What do you say about yourself? How much are you complaining? Or a lot of people say a lot of, like, I generally tend to say, oh, this I'm not good at. Oh, yeah, this is fine, but this kind of skills I struggle with, right? So even before I try it or learn it or try and master it, my brain has sometimes given ki, oh, this is not. But as I've grown older and being a teacher, having to learn and try and teach you guys, I learned these things. Ki, okay, I will first try and I will give it the time, effort necessary, and then we'll see. So I remember when I was younger, actually, I would say, oh, music is not, I mean, I don't understand music, making music. Right? I love listening to music like everybody else, but I do not understand how, I mean, how this physical thing works. And then one day I started learning it. Now I'm very, very good at it just from my own practice and pleasure. And I love it and I enjoy it, right? But if I've stayed with that belief, this great whole world of music and exploration would have always remained close to me. So, uh, awareness is the beginning, and it's a never ending process, guys, right? So it's not that one day we will sit and we'll become aware of all our negative beliefs. They will come in everywhere. When you talk to a person, when you talk to a pretty girl or a pretty boy, and if you're feeling insecure, where is that insecurity coming from? uh, can you learn something new? How fast can you learn? Oh, I can't learn, I can learn. All of these are playing out on a daily basis, right? So slowing down, observing what you're saying, how your mind is playing out is a good beginning step. Uh, because awareness and identification is step one. First, you find out what the problem is, right? So the brain's default mode network, which is active when the mind is at rest, often generates spontaneous self-referential thoughts, thinking about the self, many of which can be negative. Mindfulness meditation can help increase awareness of these automatic thoughts, enabling you to identify negative self-talk patterns, and then we'll find methods to fix them, right? So first would be identification. That also means that you need to spend some time reflecting. You need to have some time alone. So imagine if you're just running from person to person, you're busy talking to people all day, and now pay attention. If you're talking to someone and having fun and doing something, you might not be you're just thinking along and just going spontaneously. You're not observing yourself, right? So maybe 10-15 minutes a day kept out for self reflection. What am I thinking? What are my thoughts? Have I observed my own behavior? Or maybe when something happens, having a time to reflect upon it. Okay, how did I participate today, right? And that's where we slow down first of all and start the awareness process, and then we can remove it, right? Because if I can see the beginning of a thought, ki, okay, oh, this has not happened, and this always and then I say, oh, it's a negative thought, and I stop it. I am out of it, right? I can cut the thought. Awareness of the thought is the end of the thought in a way, right? So, or you can think of it as cutting and stopping, and then replacing it. Ki, no, I will try, I will learn, I can learn, I have a great human brain, I'm good at things, like basic reaffirmation and visualization techniques, right? So that's mindfulness and meditation. Maybe write these words down because it's a huge topic, and the idea is very, very simple. But the you can learn it in 5 minutes, but then you can read up more about it and find out the benefits of it extra, right? So mindfulness meditation definitely can help a lot, right? And it's quite simple. Uh, it's about entering the now and coming to your senses, right? So you have five senses. Whenever or try it as when possible, try and rotate through your five senses, right? Try and take your focus through your five senses. So, for example, maybe close your eyes and you can try it right now also and pay attention to what are the sounds around me, right? So there might be a fan sound, there might be some noise in the mohalla gully, there might be some traffic outside the window, the tree might be moving, the animal might be playing, your mom might be singing in the kitchen. Just pay attention to what is the sound right now, right? In this moment, what can I sense? Similarly, you have a sense of touch. I'm wearing clothes, for example, right now, right? So let me just take a second and feel the clothes on my body and notice that I'm moving the attention. Right now, my attention was on the sound. I did a round of sound and then I moved my attention to the clothes on my body, how they feel on my skin. And also notice that how many times you're wearing clothes, but you're not really aware of them because you're not paying attention to this, right? Uh, so do that. Maybe feel your feet on the ground. Touch your hands with each other and see how that sensation feels. Maybe take a half a spoon of sugar or take an orange toffee and put it in your mouth and pay attention to the taste, right? So run through these five senses. Try it a couple of times, slow it down. Try from sound to touch and touch to sound and touch where, right? Because your body might be, you might be holding a phone and your fingers are touching uh, the phone, but they're not aware of it. You're not aware of the touching sensation, right? So run through these five senses. We can talk about it infinitely, but the basic idea is this: enter the now, this moment. What are the real things happening, which I can test via my senses? So what this does is you have an awareness, focus, attention, that basic perception of awareness. It's moving into your body, into your senses, instead of the stories in your head, instead of that language, thought, sentence in your head, you're taking your focus away from there, right? So you look at a beautiful thing, maybe look at a sunset, and when you're looking at it, you're not thinking because right now your attention is taken by the sunset, right? So it's a game of focus, attention, awareness. Where do you focus is where you put your energy in. Now, if you take a negative thought and give it the focus and let it run, you're giving energy to a negative belief or making it more powerful. And that's why people also say, my teachers say never complain, right? Because something happened. And now when you're complaining, you're repeating that idea, making that neuron pathway stronger, making a negative thing stronger in your brain, whereas you need as much positivity as possible, right? So, entering the now can help break the thought chain. Therefore, and bring awareness, because once you start doing it, or let's say it happens automatically, because if you hear it once, it can keep happening again and again automatically, right? I think that's how it mostly works, right? Somebody tells you, and then you're like, okay, yeah, it's happening. Suddenly, a bird will sing, and you're like, oh, yeah, I can pay that it sound is real. What my brain was thinking was unreal, right? As that happens, you become aware of your own thoughts, right? Oh, I am thinking this thought. Once you reach that level of just being spotting the thought, then you can cut it early and then replace it with a positive thought. Ki, no, this thought was wrong. My brain lies. I am very capable. I'll try again and learn more. I just haven't done it yet. I haven't mastered it yet. I'm not good at it yet. Right? So this first is awareness, then is replacement, right? You can just change the sentence. So reframe or a lot of people try affirmations. I can't to I can, right? So you have to believe. You have to, so you stop the sentence and then you replace it with a better sentence, because there's nothing but a sentence running in your head. If you don't have awareness कि वो is running and it's just a thought, you will just go with it and not question it, not stop it at all, and then it will become real, right? You decide to not, till you decide to get over it, essentially, right? So, reframe and affirm. So, I mean, okay, simple example. Somebody's like, "Oh, I'm dying in this traffic." So stop, spot, and say, are we really dying in the traffic? I mean, long term, everybody is dying everywhere. But is the traffic so bad that you're actually dying? Not really, right? So be careful with your words and thoughts. And then, okay, yeah, I'm uncomfortable right now. So the moment you go from dying to uncomfortable, your body will feel different. Because when you say, oh my God, I'm dying, your brain doesn't know that you're joking or half joking or exaggerating. It starts releasing stress chemicals into your body, right? So, essentially being able to spot what I'm saying, what I'm thinking in a situation, and then reframing it to be as positive as possible, right? So again, I might be going very fast with a lot of ideas, so maybe just write them down somewhere. Okay, I learned about my brain; it has a negative tendency. I learned a little bit about awareness. Meditation is recommended. Some kind of meditation method is recommended. And then there is reframing, right? Okay, and essentially, even if you can just check yourself, no, every time you say, "Oh, I can't do it," to no, I haven't tried it yet. I will try again, learn better. My brain is great. It's not dysfunctional in any way for most people. So that's the kind of reframing that we want constantly, right? Cognitive restructuring. The term is very, very complicated. You can read this screen later, but it's about asking questions. Is it true, right? When I said I can't understand music or I'm not good at music, is that statement true? Or let's say if you start thinking, "Ki, oh my God, if I don't make it to CAT, what will happen of my life?" Is that true that if you don't go to make it through CAT, there are no options in life? So when you start questioning things, you will see most things are untrue. Your brain is just because it needs to think, it is thinking about a problem, right? So your prefrontal cortex, which is your reasoning faculty. So you take a thought and you start analyzing it in terms of ki, is it true? Because I know my brain lies, right? So that is another technique. And again, you can get into each of these modalities and explore them further. But always do question yourself and then question it seriously, like a critical thinker, the way we have been working on. Use logic and you will see, you can give me an example of a negative thought and you start questioning it, you will see it's not really true, right? Let's say you miss 2 days of study and you're feeling bad that, oh, I should not have missed my 2 days. Is that true? Is it necessary that you can't miss any days? No, you can miss days and you can make up for it. It's not that big a deal, right? Oh, my boyfriend left me and I'm feeling terrible, right? I mean, not a complicated, but a common scenario maybe, right? But then again, you stay with it. Okay, what is it? What is the sentence that is making me sad? And then you question it, and you will see that no, again, that person's presence in your life is not a requirement for happiness, right? Now, this is slightly a tougher method, especially for younger people. Like asking questions might be difficult, but the five senses rotation, right? Just feeling your body going through the senses, and because the moment you try it, you can notice that your brain activity, the language activity, will be down and your stress and negative thoughts are happening in language only, right? Now, if there is a tiger in the room, actual a tiger gets out of the cage and starts running towards me, and you're feeling stress, you should feel stress. If a bus is coming to your foot is stuck on the railway track and a train is coming, you need that adrenaline to maybe pull your leg out of the chain or do something about it and run faster, maybe. So there are situations where uh, the stress is needed, and even a little bit of negative talk is good, because otherwise, if you have completely positive all the time, you feeling perfect only, then you will not take any action. So some amount of that little push towards negativity and fixing and feedback, fixing yourself, and get trying to get better. Because if you're positive, you say, I'm good, this is perfect, then you won't do anything to further enhance the situation, right? Which is also fine, by the way. If you really apply this method, par, I say, no, if you're happy, then that's great because that's what people are trying to get after MBA and money and making a film or playing cricket in for the in country. Whatever, what they're trying is to get that happiness. If you can get that happiness without anything, great. But most people can't. There is that negative drive going on. But we want to keep it contained. We want to use it when needed, not get overwhelmed by it, right? So cognitive restructuring is basically asking questions ki, is this thought true? Am I like, okay, somebody, you cross two people and they were laughing and you start thinking, oh, they're laughing at me, right? Again, is that thought true? Maybe they're having a separate conversation. Okay, they are laughing at you. Oh, they're laughing at me. But should I feel bad about it if people are laughing at me, right? Again, you start questioning it and you will see a few steps down the line that it doesn't matter if somebody is laughing at you, right? Really doesn't matter. But for most people, it will feel bad. Most people will feel, ki, oh, they were laughing at me, and then think, raat ko 2 o'clock, they'll be like, and then take action. And again, I use this example a lot. If somebody comes on the street and comes and says, "You dog, you bloody dog," and then runs away, my day can be ruined. No, कि a person came and called me a dog, or I can be a clear thinker and be कि, okay, if somebody comes and says whatever, I don't become it. It's completely irrelevant piece of information, right? So you can move, ignore it, and move about your day. So it comes in handy almost everywhere. So ask yourself questions, have a little self compassion, give your treat the way you treat your best friend, right? Talk to yourself the way you talk to your best friend. Talk to yourself, a coach would talk to you, a coach that you paid a lot of money to make you successful. Yeah, that's how you talk to yourself, right? Because a lot of times we talk very harshly to ourselves. Oh, I'm totally useless, right? If you call someone else totally useless, they'll pick a fight with you and not talk to you, right? So why are you talking so nicely to other people, but so harshly to yourself? So whenever you're talking negatively, give yourself a little hug and say, no, at least I love you, bro. Self-love is also the modern dating I've heard is very, very problematic, and everybody's left with self-love only, right? So get that self-love going. Yeah, okay, you didn't do 50 questions, but you did 30 questions. You tried a little. You wanted to hit the gym for 5 days a week, you couldn't make it, you made it 3 days a week, give yourself a hug, right? Okay, okay, it's not the end of the world, and everybody needs some loving, right? And when you do that, when you show yourself some self compassion, again, good chemicals are released in the body and they soothe your body. Your nerves are so frayed anyway, so they get relaxed and life becomes better. Affirmations and visualizations. Affirmation means a sentence that you kind of keep repeating till it becomes real for you, right? Or instead of saying, even saying, I am not good at maths, right? Is also an affirmation, is just a negative affirmation. So you replace it with, you can't replace it with, I'm good at maths because you will say, no, yesterday I tried a test, I failed. So I can't say I'm good at maths. So I'll say, I I am getting better at maths every day. I'm getting better at maths every day, right? So these kind of statements where you just think about them throughout the day and then you will see result in some time. And again, proven technique, thousands of people try it. Uh, my one of my affirmations these, and it's very broad, it's not for one thing, but I was reading a book and it happened, just stuck in my head that the first thing that I do when I wake up is my brain now, because it's now habitual, right? So affirmation is talking about making habitual positivity a thing, right? That you practiced it so much that your brain is now, you're forcing it in the direction of the positive thoughts, right? So that's what affirmations mean. So one of my affirmations in the morning is that, oh, miracles will follow miracles and wonders shall never cease, right? That good things are going to happen. And for a while, bad things haven't happened, right? Like, I mean, I don't even know what a bad thing would be anymore. But so, and the more you play it out, because your brain is plastic, so you train it in a certain direction and it'll become like that. So, work on your affirmations, repeat positive affirmations can activate neural pathways associated with affirmation and optimism, positive self perception over time, right? I am capable, I am resilient. Basically, you decide what your character is going to be. Say, you pick up a quality and say, one of the quality that I want to work on is uh, determination, right? and then you just say, I am I'm working on determining, or I'm a determined person a few times, or each day I'm getting more determined, right? And then you will see you can choose how you want to be. I know in the beginning it's like slightly difficult, but that's the great mental game, right? That can you control your own brain and give it a new personality altogether, right? Okay, this is what I do. I never quit. I keep at it. And past doesn't matter because past is no indication of future behavior, right? You can completely let go of what happened in the past. So, or again, for now, write it down and say, okay, what are the affirmations that I can work on? And this is all backed by neuroscientists, right? So this is also covered in some spirituality, yoga, these somewhere in religions maybe, but all covered by neuroscience in recent research, right? That this is how your brain works. Now, this is the easy one, the role of exercise. Uh, Please make sure that is one of the big mistakes I made in my working career. Once I started working, I had no time to play or exercise because I was working 12 hours a day. The culture was slightly different 10, 15 years ago when we were starting off, or 20 years ago, where it was like, oh yeah, guys, you have to work all day. You know how Narayan Murthy said, work 70 hours a day. So we were all very happy about working 12 hours a day. And the end result was terrible health, right? After a decade or so of doing that. And recently, I started playing basketball with some neighborhood people, right? My life has changed because that balance was so missing. So physical activity is very, very important, and it will definitely improve your overall mental health. Now, it's a good time because we're learning about our brain, right? It's a good time to start investigating, and it's not for today, tomorrow. It's a lifelong project. It's a good time to start investigating your brain chemicals, right? There's dopamine locha, what is going on? There's serotonin, what it does. There's oxytocin release, what happens, and endorphins, what are they? Because after, I mean, I've heard this, right? I went for a run or I played 2 hours of very strenuous basketball. When I came back, 1 hour later, I was feeling so good, right? And I was like, what is this feeling? And then I asked a friend, and he said, oh, that's called an endorphin release that happens to athletes after playing hard, right? And I was like, wow, I never knew about this, right? So you can hack your brain once you start working on these chemicals. Your Instagram addiction is based on this dopamine issue. We'll discuss that separately, right? So what that means is you're getting to know your brain and you're trying to understand how it works using the latest research, right? And it's available in the public domain. So do a lot of be as physically active, especially when you're young, as possible. um, there is actual benefits to your cognitive ability. That means when you work out, your brain actually gets better. Uh, so direct benefit to anybody who is appearing for a test or doing anything brain related, you must exercise a little, I mean, the required amount. And again, you can start Googling how much should I work out, what is the minimum number of steps I should take. Strength, the advantages of lifting weights, lifting heavy things, especially if you're above 20, and because it has lifelong benefits, right? And if you can master these few habits, the functioning of your brain will drastically improve. Of course, community matters, or the quality of people around you matter. There is something known as mirror neurons, right? So somebody in front of you, if they yawn, uh, they open their mouth and they're sleepy, you will also feel sleepy. If they are excited, you will feel excited. If they are very negative and complainy all day, you will also become negative and complainy all day. So in Buddhism and even in Sanskrit, there's a quote. It says, "Sat sangati katham kim na karoti punsam." I don't even know why I know this. My teacher was like a very hardcore Sanskrit teacher, which means that Sat Sangati, right? Good company, a human being can achieve almost anything, right? So remove negative people from your life. You will also realize the chances are that most people are very negative around you. So you might have to eliminate. You can't eliminate your parents in the situation, but let's say if you have a hostile friend who just comes and complains about life, notice people complaining about life and notice if that's a negative thing, right? So uh, then of course there are this is the hard way of overcoming that stress or that negative thought. Of course, you can also just distract yourself. You can look at Instagram. You can start talking to your girlfriend, boyfriend, because that will distract you from whatever negative things you're thinking. People do drugs and alcohol and play whatever, do gambling, or however they want to overcome this negativity without understanding it, right? And that's the other negative path of overcoming stress. Ki, okay, I will drink, I will do drugs, and or I will just go hang with my friends all the time, or I'll watch Netflix all day because as long as I'm watching Netflix, I'm calm because my brain is occupied with what the TV show is doing, not with what my brain is doing by itself when it is not doing anything, right? And it's a very interesting subject because this is a program running in your brain, right? So how do you get the best program in your brain so that things happen efficiently in your life? As long as the program is slightly messed up, it will keep making mistakes, right? So, and it's again, it's not for today. It's a lifelong challenge, and it's a challenge for every human being who's trying to achieve anything, who's trying to make something of himself or herself in this journey, right? Uh, I mean, sooner than later, everybody has to come face to face with it, and then the game is, do I evolve or do I stay stuck in my programming? In fact, programming is so happens so early, right? In the first 6, 7 years of age, also, a lot of brain programming happens from your parent and your community. So, trying to get over that also eventually, because later in life, because these things will play out in everything, how you perform in your business, how you perform in your company, how you perform with your partner, right? Because there's somebody has told you something, yo, this is true, right? So there is a hypnosis going on. Your job is to come out of the hypnosis and discover the explosive power of your brain, which we uh, started with, right? So that's it for the day. I hope the conversation is started. We'll talk more about this whenever the opportunity presents itself, or more research is done, and you can start working on it by yourself. Read some good books on neurobiology or how the brain works. I'm sure there are these popular titles. I'll share them later as well. But I hope that you do somehow, one way or the other, discover the explosive power of your brain. That's it for today. I will see you really soon.